Hey, good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Believe it or not, Wednesday. How do you feel? A little bit of a burr outside. You're waking up to around 40 right now. We've gone from somewhere around 44 to 40 now. So it's nippy there. It will get warmer, though. We're headed for a high of 78. No bad weather expected toward Easter. I'm looking forward to it. A great time. A lot of Easter egg hunts are going to be taking place. We'll try to compile all those. So we'll have a list of that coming up. How do you feel? Let's hope wonderful. Let's get this day started. We're going to have a lot of great things today. Mayor Larry Gill will join us at 7 o'clock. We'll go over what's going on in Marion and answer a few questions from what we had yesterday from J.J. Anders, the supervisor. The Marion situation. We'll get into all that with the mayor this morning. Greg will be back in today. Also, let's get things rolling. Let's go to Collinsville now. Get our good message.
Easter is this coming Sunday, and I want to invite you to join us to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus at Collinsville First Baptist Church. This Sunday, we'll have two identical Easter services, one at 8:30 a.m. and the other at 10:30 a.m. I would just be thrilled to have you and your whole family come worship with us. Well, today, we're continuing our journey with Jesus during the intense week of his life and ministry that led up to his crucifixion and resurrection. We call this week Holy Week, and today is Spy Wednesday. Now, spies are a regular part of international gamesmanship, where nations try to get the upper hand on one another by secretly trying to find out what they're hiding. The most effective spies are not outsiders who creep in, but rather insiders who turn traitorous. For instance, like the spy ring in the UK known as the Cambridge Five. These were British citizens who, while at Cambridge University, were recruited by the Soviet Union to spy on their home nation during World War II and the Cold War, and their work went undetected for decades. Well, spies are an effective tool in the enemy's hands, and the devil knows this well. That's why he recruited a spy from Jesus' inner circle to help bring about the death of Jesus. His spy was a disciple named Judas Iscariot. And so on this day during Holy Week, enticed by Satan, Judas made a traitorous arrangement with the Jewish religious leaders to become a spy on Jesus. They promised him 30 pieces of silver for his dirty work. And in the end, Judas made good on his promise the next evening when he led the police to where Jesus was praying. There they promptly arrested him and later turned him over for crucifixion. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, and may he get everything he deserves for that. But I wonder this day, have you ever betrayed Jesus? Have you ever played up your love for Jesus in one situation and then shown a serious lack of love for Jesus in another one? Basically backstabbing Jesus. Beloved, although our betrayal may not be on the same par with Judas's, it's betrayal nonetheless. So this Easter season, it's a chance for you to change from all that mess. This Easter season, may you reassert your loyalty to Jesus by turning from anything and everything that's calling you to betray him and give your heart completely and solely to Jesus. Leave the espionage to the pagans. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that message. We are headed toward Easter Sunday. Make sure you're there. Most churches will be overfilled with folks this year. I hope you'll be one of those. Maybe you'll get to come back the following Sunday also. It's good there. I missed last Sunday, so I'm on the naughty list also. Good morning to you. My name is Scotty Ray. If you've never watched this before, welcome. At the top of the hour, we'll have local headlines. Now we'll go into some of the headlines shaping America. Those things that go on in other states and across America do affect you. One of the leading stories that I see this morning is President Trump has signed a memorandum. What he's going to do is stop illegal aliens from receiving Social Security checks. Now, again, if you're not an American citizen, you're not here, and you're taking taxpayer money, that's going to be nipped in the bud, as they say. That's never made sense to me. Has it you? How you can be an illegal alien, which is, well, illegal, and then be paid by the U.S. of A. Also with this, they're going to expand investigations. Now, the key word here is investigations. Anyone over 100 years old for mismatched records, making sure that all of that is very clear. As we well know that we're seeing people that are way older than 100, 130, 200 years old being paid. They're going to dig into this and see if it was a mathematical error a keystroke entered wrong. And if it's fraudulent, they will not be paid anymore. But a big move there. Again, for those people who have paid in all their lives, they deserve to get that money. Not by people who've never worked. And there's plenty of that across the U.S., isn't it? Hacked California. Now, usually in Meridian, it's not that big of a deal where I'm from. Depends on where you're from as you go up to a street corner. They do have those buttons that you can push to change the red light. Bigger cities, I'm sure that's an important thing to get across. California, they hacked them. I've listened to them. They're quite humorous. They've changed the voice to Elon Musk and also Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that owns Facebook. They're using them as messages to do that. I'm sure that they've gotten it straightened out since then, but it was hilarious. So kudos to those who didn't have anything better to do that day. A big court win here. What am I talking about? Elections. When elections roll in, there's been a controversy over the last 8 years. The election comes at the end of the days when voting is supposed to stop. In the past, they've been counting election ballots that arrive after that day. Yesterday, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed that counting ballots that arrive after Election Day is unlawful. I'm sure that there's been some elections that's been changed by that. Was there hanky-panky? I don't know. I can't prove that. But this will, as I've used this word before, will nip it in the bud, won't it? Can't do that. Ballots just can't arrive out of nowhere. That's a good move, I think, for the U.S. Either side, whether you're Republican or Democrat, I think that's good. Nevada, they've taken 160 names off the voter rolls. Statewide integrity cleanup is what they're calling it. Now, that includes anybody that may have been deceased, shouldn't have been on the ballot to begin with. They've cleaned that up. 160,000 names have been taken off. I think that's good. UK, across the pond. There's some that may not like this, but, well, it's the truth. And I really need to see if the U.S. has ruled on this. I think they have, but I'm not sure. But the UK Supreme Court ruled that a woman means biologically female. Might want to write that down and pass that out there. Chicago, this is a big deal. I can't, because my budget is not very big, and it is a good thing for people that are wealthy to give to programs to help out. Chicago, Chicago, it's a university there, will receive, and this guy's still alive, $100 million, a gift for its Boost Executive MBA program. Again, it's very nice. We've seen that in Meridian where many people have given to MCC and Mississippi State. It's good for that to happen. But boy, that's a lot of money, isn't it? $100 million. And apparently it didn't affect whoever that was. They had the cash to spare. Diane, good morning there. Robin's up. Dorothy joining us from Causeyville. Beth, I see Tennessee is up and Arnold is there. Good to see y'all. What else do we have this morning? So what do you think the number one eat out place is? Restaurant. For years, I think it was from 2018, it had been, we got one here in Meridian, Olive Garden. It's changed. The number one stakeholder now is Texas Roadhouse. You ever eaten there? The peanuts and all? It's good. They've flourished. They've done well. Longhorn Steakhouse is a part of that also. They've got the peanuts. I've eaten at them several times passing through that big state of Texas. I'm going to show you a picture here. I don't know that this will catch on, but boy, Cadillac cars, GM Motors, Cadillac is doing it where they're putting all their eggs toward those battery-powered cars, and they've come up with a concept car. This is a concept. Anyway, they've made the car. It doesn't mean it'll go into production, but this is the all-electric Corvette. What do y'all think? Kind of futuristic looking, isn't it? Aren't the price tag of those things somewhere a little over $100K now? And I want to say I talked to somebody that paid like $110,000 for one not long ago. Whew. Who would have ever thunk it? My first house was $32,000, and that was the brick house. Our first mobile home that we bought when we got married was, I think, $12,000. Times have changed. I hear those are running 160 or so. Times have changed a lot. Honda, across the pond there, says they're not considering at this point moving their operations from Canada and Mexico to America. We'll see if that lasts or not. He's not going to do this, and he didn't do it his last time that he was in office. Trump will skip out on the annual dinner honoring the press, correspondence dinner. He didn't go that first time. They roast you, and I don't blame him. I don't think I would go either. Do y'all remember a guy named General Flynn? I think he got kind of done up. What he's saying will never happen, but again, it's America. You can say what you want. He's calling for the arrest of Barack, John Brennan, James Comey, and others over the plot against Trump. The Russia, all of that. He says it was a plot, and those in charge of it should be arrested. Clinton was in all of that. Like I said, it'll never happen. It may be spoken, but it will never happen, and you know that as well as I do. This is odd. Maybe I'm missing something in America. AOC, she's very liberal and thinks different from the way that I do. I'm playing down the middle. It's kind of like a barbed wire fence. So on one side you've got right, on one side you've got wrong. Every now and then you do bump into something that's kind of gray that makes you shrug your chin and try to figure out. Do you realize how much money she's raised? I think this is since the beginning of the year. $10 million. So apparently there's some folks that believe like she does. $10 million raised. Apple was trying to outthink the president. When they heard of this tariff thing, they went ahead and shipped $2 billion worth of phones to the U.S. before it all went into effect. Smart move. You can't knock them for that, but they got them here. They were shipped in from India. Something about that says it's not made in America, isn't it? Again, I still back being made in America. Manufacturing brought back. NAFTA, well, it took away from your home. See what else we've got now. The thing about this next thing that caught my headline was, you ever heard that old saying of the sword to die on? I can remember the mayor of Meridian, in every speech as he went out, was trying to get reelected, kept telling the Meridianites that voted that he had the greatest chief there ever was. The crime was down. When everybody would look around and go, I don't think so, Jimmy. Well, he didn't win. As this story kind of relates to that, the Democrats are trying to get a committee to go to El Salvador. This guy that was shipped out that is obviously not everything that meets the eye, to where the media has been trying to paint him as a family guy. And when we saw the president of El Salvador go, nope, I'm not sending him back, he'd just be shipped back for another crime. Good luck to them on that issue. Maybe it will pay off for them in some kind of a way. I don't know much about this sport, but tennis, I've never watched that much of it. I know that they use the word love a lot. Has anybody ever heard of a woman named, she's from Britain. Her name is Harriet Dart. She plays tennis back and forth. I guess she's trying to make good on what she said. I know Greg's been riding with a coworker when he was in the forestry and said, dude, did you take a bath this morning? Well, she said that about her opponent that was playing tennis with her. She goes, you need to tell them to take a bath. They smell. They got all mad at her over it. Sensitivity. But we all know that. We'll have to tell you the story about my shirt one day that I asked Greg, what's that smell? Oh, let's see here. China has replaced their international trade negotiator. Whoever they had before didn't work out so well with negotiations with Trump. They're going to have to find somebody else to replace that, to do it a little bit different there. So that is happening. Wait a minute, I got some more stories up here. Something happened. Got out of line here of what I was doing. Hate it when that happens. Let's see what else we got. Their Universal Park is expected to bring in $2 billion to Florida within 1 year. I have never been one of those. Now, my wife does that stuff, gets on those high rides and jumps on them and goes. That's just never been my cup of tea. It's not me, but a lot of you love that stuff. Dollywood, that little roller coaster, the wooden one, that was enough for me. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. This guy. What state was this in? It's in North Carolina. And you have to attribute to this either to people you hang around or stuff that you see on movies or games. 15-year-old, for no reason, is being charged with killing a Lyft driver. That's kind of like an Uber driver, so to speak. Man was trying to make a living, was killed for no reason. The morals, the family values, there's so much that goes into this, what led up to this. Why, we don't know. Now, the headline reads, I think it was ABC, NBC, all these have put on this. Dallas, Texas, there was a shooting at a high school there. Person in custody, and as you dig down into this, they tried to say this was a one-on-one student affair, that they didn't get along. Okay, maybe they knew each other. But 4 people were shot. That doesn't make it a one-on-one thing. Not in my opinion. How'd they get into school with it? What went on? We don't know all of that. Are you a member of Sam's Club? I think there's about 600 of them across the US of A. Coming soon, they're going to be remodeling every one of these stores, getting a facelift, and they will be adding new Sam's stores across America. Business must be good. That's good. It's handy to go in and out of. I remember as a kid, the lady that kept me when my mom would go off to work, her name was Mayhat. She was a sweet lady. She was family to me. Whenever we'd walk to town, she always, and this is just the way it was in the rural South, and I think most of you will relate to this. Whenever we walked to town, she always had a little broomstick that was about yay long. It was broken. She carried that with her whenever dogs would run at us as we walked to town, and it happens everywhere. The sad story is we go to Texas. Wooden fences in your backyard. A woman was in her backyard. Her neighbor's dog had 3 of them. Kept barking at her. She was in her backyard. They broke the fence. She was killed. And, of course, you know the breed that I'm talking about, bulldogs. They're dangerous. Elderly are sometimes severely hurt by this. I don't know the answer to this. But how many times have we read this? I'm not blaming the breed. Don't take me wrong, but sometimes people get bent out of shape over that. I don't know what causes it. Well, let's see what else we got going on this morning, this big headlines today. This goes back to, how do you feel about this? Do you think big chain stores need to be closed on Easter Sunday? Y'all remember when they tried to do away with Thanksgiving? They did for about 3 years there, to where they required workers to come in during these Black Friday sales on Easter, and it took about 4 years for them to finally go, we're going to close on Thanksgiving. Easter, here's what we've got. Macy's will be closing down for Easter. Trader Joe, they will stay open. That's a pretty big store nowadays. Aldi will be closing. They've got one of those stores there here in Meridian. Kohl's will close for Easter. And even Lowe's will be shutting down for Easter. I'm shocked on that one. Walmart, it will be open. Hate to say that. Costco, we don't have one of those, but they will close for Easter also. CVS will have reduced hours. We've got several of those around the area. But that gives you an outlook of who's doing what when it comes to being open on Easter or not. We'll be right back as we'll get into your forecast to get this. Beth says she believes in closing on Easter. And so does Diane. Not all of us, not everybody's had that opportunity to be raised like us, were they? Where you just kind of know what you need to do. We'll be right back.
Celebrating our 7th anniversary, Al's Garden and Gift is excited to share the beautiful colors of spring with you. Beautiful bedding and vegetable plants, hanging baskets, roses, ferns, shrubs, and fruit trees to help you enjoy the season. Spruce up lawn and flower beds with fresh sod, mulch, soils, and pine straw. Then brighten your day with unique gifts, candles, gourmet food items, flags, wind chimes, planters, fountains, custom wreaths, and so much more. Spring is here at Al's Garden and Gift. Bloom with happiness.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
That's got to do with people.
You know, Greg, before I get into the weather, had just a good point there. When we were taking the survey there, do you think a store ought to be closed on Easter or not? Greg made a good point there. Just don't go. They'll shut down the following year if no customers come. Kind of said it all, Greg. Man's got it going on over there. We'll talk more with Greg coming up in a moment. As we look at our forecast, here we go. We go back to 1955. Today it was 89 degrees. Really, 2007, if you don't think about it, was not that far ago. Not that long ago. But it was 32 back in 07. God, boy, that's what, 18 years about? Oh, my heavens. Our outlook today will hit somewhere between 76 to 78. They changed this at the last moment. Then it predicted up until about 4:30 to be 76. They've changed that to 78 today. So add 2 degrees on most everything there. We'll see 74 to 75 through Demopolis and a little bit cooler there at Burmerland. And we'll see Troy, Alabama there in the south, about 73 or 4. We'll see that there's a warming trend coming across the deep south. That's what we got as we look at our 7-day forecast. 76 to 8 today, depending upon where your boots are. 49 for a low tonight as we'll move into tomorrow. Look at this. 80 degree weather. I couldn't get it out, could have. Is going to be setting in for quite some time as far as the eye can see for the next 7 days at least. 82 tomorrow as the weekend arrives. 88 for Friday and Saturday. 0% chance of rain, so if you got Easter egg hunts, perfect. Now Sunday has an itty-bitty chance, about 20% chance. Rain will most likely move in Monday with the forecast with a high of 83 with a 50% chance. 40% chance on Tuesday as we roll into Wednesday. Get this now. 45, 30% chances through about next Thursday. So rain chances there. What does that mean? Grass is going to grow. That's coming there. We'll stay above 80 all the way through the 30th of April. Pretty strong, isn't it? Let's check out that fishing forecast now. If you're headed out, J&J Auto Sales sends you out with a calm wind today. Becoming northeast around 5 miles an hour. Not bad at all. Your perfect time to fish today is going to be at 2:40 this afternoon. Let's just call it from 2:30 to 5 o'clock. That's pretty close to what's going to be happening. So a late afternoon fishing trip is perfect. You'll have a minor time this morning beginning at 11 until lunchtime. Get on that on the bank there and do all the fishing you want. Sunrise happened at 6:23. Sunset will roll in at 7:25. Let's go to radar this morning and take a look at what we've got here on radar to make sure everything is all clear in the area. And as we pull that up, here's what we got. It is all clear there. We've got a little bit of fog out to our west there in Texas, Bay City, those areas in between there and Victoria, Texas, a little bit as we back out. Not a lot going on anywhere in the deep south. Kind of cold up in West Virginia, Cincinnati, and those areas today as we look at this, but not bad in our area there. Around Charleston, let's just see what they got going on in Charleston. They have, a frost advisory, 43 degrees. Not much different there in West Virginia, but a frost advisory. So that's a quick look at what we've got. As weather develops, whatever the situation is, we'll keep you updated. Now, on the way at 7 o'clock, we're going to tell you all about what went on yesterday. It wasn't quite a standoff. It wasn't quite a barricade, but we stood for hours outside of a hotel as FBI agents, MBI, Meridian Police Department, the Jackson Special Division was on scene. I'll word it that way. Tons and tons of law enforcement agency as we tried to eat a hamburger and keep up with what was going on. We'll give you the details on that in just a moment. Kim says good morning over there, Greg. She wanted to say we got a thumbs up from him. Larry Gill joins us in just a moment. He'll be in, and we'll find out what's going on in Marion. See if we can get some numbers out of the mayor. Paving, all that's still up in discussion. We'll be right back. Join us, won't you? It kicks off at 7 at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.